the big money on tonight's slate. You were scoring in the 320s. Crazy numbers on tonight's slate. Not going to be that crazy on this 8-gamer for Wednesday. Mike's joining me to break it all down so we can get that bread truck to back on up to the house and drop off all that bread. Let's get to it right now. Recording live from somewhere. This is One and Done.
Get out the insurance cards, get out the co-pays. The office is open, my friends. Brought to you by drroto.com.
Once again, for everybody to come aboard that Green Screens Media train. Welcome to One and Done. Bienvenidos a todos a One and Done, your fast break of college basketball información. And we are powered by the Multiverse's greatest website of all time ever in the history of mankind and alien kind and everybody kind. DrRoto.com. I am your sometimes humble host, the conductor of the aforementioned Green Screens Media train, and I go by the name of Jay Heinrich. Find me on X at Dr. William Cannon. I will smash that follow back button, but you're not here to see me, and I know that's quite all right because no, there we go. That guy right there, El Capitan himself, the captain of the Green Screens Media ship. Find him on X at MC Holland 34, the OGest of the OG Money Mikes, Mr. Mike Holland. Mike, what it do? How'd you do tonight? What's cooking?
Okay. About plus 35 on the main slate, which, I mean, those types of slates, man, I kind of dread those because there's just so much ownership on the same guys, and it's just complete mispricing by DK. So Cam up here throwing up a 273. I think my highest was 270. So you beat me there, Cam. Man, yeah, I'm just ready to move past that one. I was happy to profit. Anytime you see that type of slate where it's like just cooked with value and these smash plays, like you just pray that you can not find the couple of guys that don't hit, and for the most part I miss those. So yeah, looking forward to this one. It's going to be a lot more fun on this Wednesday one.
Better slate to mess around with, to tinker around with, for sure. Oh, look at our guy, CC Hustle in the chat. Napesy Hustle, dropping the bread and the fire emoji.
CC Hustle.
What it do? CC Hustle, our guy, doing big things. Salute to you, Nape, at the real Napier over there on X. And then there he is, our guy, Forklift Jeremy. We salute you as well, keeping it rolling in the live chat. Be like Jeremy. Be like our guy, CC Hustle. Be like Cam, a.k.a. C Thuggin, a.k.a. CT Huggin, one of the OGs in the live chat. Be like these guys. Hop in there and let us know you're hanging out with us. Let us know who you're thinking about playing, who you're putting all of your money into, all of your DK dollars on a Wednesday slate. An 8-gamer tipping off at 6:30 Eastern Standard Time. Got that old 2K to first mic on a Wednesday. He's heating up. Hopefully we get on fire. Yeah, exactly. Dipsy do Duckaroo. Oh, no, that's a different thing. But either way, 2K to first heating up as we currently sit at 1,279 subs. Let's get to 1,280 tonight, Mike, on our way to 11 gazillion fulfillion. Yep, that's the way we're going. That's the direction One and Done is going. And Green Screens Media, if you don't know, now you know. Green Screens Media on YouTube is the place to be. If you're watching over on X, we appreciate you. If you're watching us, taking us in anywhere in the world, we appreciate you. But we do want you to get over to YouTube and push all those buttons. Like, subscribe, notification bells, so you don't miss a minute of our coverage because we're coming to you hot and heavy as Scott hops in the chat there as we get right before we get to our overview. Good to see Scott in the chat once again.
What's up, Scott?
Great college. Hey, thanks for the kind words, Scott. Let's get to the quick overview of this slate, Mike. Like I was saying, much better slate than we were talking about for this Tuesday. We're talking about a Wednesday one, though, and it's looking mighty fine.
Yeah, so first thing that kind of sticks out, it's not the most expensive slate, which is always nice. I mean, you got there are only 3 guys over 9K, only 7 guys over 8K. So we're gonna be able to kind of, it's not like tonight. We're gonna be able to tinker around a little bit. There's not the smash like low, mid tier, and value plays, but there are quality like guys in the 7K range. There's quality guys kind of in the low 5s. The Miami values there, so it's kind of an all around type of slate. I think you can go stars and scrubs, or you can build out through the mid-tier, mostly with a couple of value plays. So a bunch of ways to attack this particular slate, and I don't think we're going to be finding as many guys rocking 30+% on this one. So looking forward to this one, man.
What a night it was tonight. Again, it's just one of those nights where, like you said, you turn a profit. You're happy to walk away with the green screens, and you live to fight another day. And that's what we are here to do, to fight on a Wednesday slate, locking at, first game's tip at 6:30 Eastern, 5:30 Central, 3:30 out there. The West Coast is the best coast. Apparently, that's what I hear anyway. Much better slate tonight for sure. Oh, Isaac, there he is. Oh, what a night indeed. Isaac, appreciate you hopping in there with us for sure.
Darren, I don't know if we've heard from Darren. What's up, Darren?
No, Darren, sorry, I missed right over you. Darren Etheridge. I recognize that name.
Oh, okay. What's up, Darren?
Hey, Darren. Oh, yeah, I got the $sign and the fire emoji.
Nice
stuff,
Let's
Darren.
go.
Appreciate that, man. Let's go. Keep the live chat rolling. Let's get to this 8-gamer, though, Mike. Starting with UConn traveling to Villanova, a 155-point implied total here, according to Ken Palm's metrics. 77 implied points for UConn. We know that they don't really push the ball up and down. Tempo-wise, they're about 300th in the country, and Villanova's slow as well. So the fact that this is a 155-point implied total speaks volumes to the qualities of these teams, but also might give you a little hint as to how this one may go. Why the high total, Mike? Both teams are at top 10 in offensive efficiency. I saw your face when I mentioned that total. Does it feel kind of like a trap game with this total?
It's kind of a high total.
It is a very high total, but again, both teams know how to put the ball in the basket super, super efficiently. For UConn, though, 3-point bump and assist bump for the Huskies as well. So let's get to Caravan, 8,800. The big man's a solid cash play. You know, I'm a cash play guy myself. I was going to give the cash core when we do these shows, and Caravan fits the bill on this slate for sure. I think the tourney upside is probably a little bit capped. We've seen what he can do. We know what the ceiling is. Super solid cash play, though. When he was putting up major stocks early in the tournament, early in the season, Mike, that's when we could use it.
Remember that?
Play. I remember those days.
Like 7 blocks.
Numbers. Yeah. Here's the deal, though. It's the consistency. Between 31 and 36 fantasy points in 4 straight. Caravan's a very, very solid cash game play.
Yeah, man. Don't mind it for cash. Won't be using them for tournaments. A couple of guys that I will be at least thinking about playing in tournaments. Hassan Diarra. He's up to a max price, though. He's $8K. That hurts, but he has 35 fantasy point upside. The problem is you don't play him in cash because he'll disappear. You're like, where's Hassan Diarra? Oh, he's played 30 minutes, but he didn't do anything. So definite tournament play here. It's a bit inconsistent, but he's playing high 30s minutes, mid 30s minutes. So don't mind it. You're going to take a shot in a large field to win that 2K. Same here, Jay, for Terrace Reed. He's $800 cheaper at the forward spot, 7,200. I mean, he's like the ultimate GPP target. Like Terrace Reed's either going to give you 11 or he's going to give you 50. I mean, his minutes are just all over the place, and he's really kind of dependent on Samson Johnson and how he's playing. So if Johnson gets into foul trouble, that always helps. If Johnson's just kind of not good, Reed can get up to the 24, 25. Really love Reed, obviously, for tournaments when Johnson's not around, but he's obviously in. You can't touch this guy in cash, but I may mess around and put Reed in 1 because I think you'll get him at super low ownership. And if he does happen to have one of those massive double doubles in 23 minutes, you're gonna enjoy some cash solo there. Solo ball kind of be used in cash or tourneys. He's been playing massive minutes lately, and obviously helps that Liam McNeely is out. So with McNeely out, 27, 34.5 fantasy points in the last 2 games. He's more scoring dependent, which I hate when you start to get that 6K and above where guys really have to be super efficient from the field. But you look at the shot attempts, 21 in the last 2 games. What's happening, though, is he's playing more minutes, so the peripherals are really helping out. He's not really a stock guy, but, if he's able to grab 4 boards and get you 2 assists and knock down 50% of his shots, he can definitely pay off the $6,200 price tag. A funny play from the other day that was actually on my first place team from the 9th play was Aiden Mahaney. He's 3,400. He was 3,300 the other night. He went for 15.5 fantasy points. He was only 10% owned on that night slate. I don't know that it'll be that popular because we have Miami Valley and some other guys that are cheap that people are going to get to. One of these guards gets into foul trouble. I can see him playing 25 minutes, though. He's going to need to hit his threes. What do you say, Jay? Like every time he hits a three at this price point, it's 1x.
Yeah, it's 1x.
Isn't that capable of knocking down, knock down, 2 the other night? 2 for 2. Going to have to do something similar to that. If he hits 3, obviously you're getting in there. So, man, I don't know that I can get to Mahaney. He's just in the value player pool. Because a lot of my value is going to be spent in this Miami game that we'll talk about a little bit later. And then, Jay, I got completely torched, as I'm sure maybe you did and many others, by a guy down there sitting there at the bare minimum, man. What do you got here?
Hey, Jaden Ross, he started last game. Okay, looking at the starting lineups. Wow, let's go. Loving that price tag. Played all of 12 minutes and had as many fantasy points as I did.
Yeah, dude. He almost outscored him.
Even though he was owned at 20% clip. With that being said, I like to buy guys when the stock is not exactly on the up and up. I don't think anybody's going to be on him. I think people are going to be scared to hop back on it. This could be time to do it. And again,
doesn't need much.
Why not in the tournament? What do you get to some of these expensive guys and throw Jaden Ross in there and have at it? Why not? Is he going to do worse than he did last time, Mike? I don't believe so.
I mean, maybe if he turns it over one.
Unless he goes out there and dribbles it off his feet and then twists his ankle and then we're done. But why not? 3K flat, no need to worry. My account.
He's in the pool. I guess he's in the pool. I don't think I'll click his name, but
I
wouldn't be
shocked.
Not
gonna click his name. You're not even once.
No, dude. Maybe you know how it goes, dude. We circle the value, and then I'll click them one time in 20 lineups.
Yeah, and it'll be the right play.
One time.
It'll be the right
be
play.
The one lineup.
I'm saying it'll be the right decision to not play him a ton. We see this a lot. Yeah. Sometimes you don't got to get cute with it, right?
Yeah.
This does feel like sort of a cutesy play to make on a bounce back, but listen, if you just spend way too much and you're just sitting there with 3K in your hand, what do? Put Jaden Ross in and have some fun. All right, man. Speaking of the chat, is a little bit of fun. Full-time 20 hopping in. The gang is all here. Yeah, Dixon had it tonight, just like we drew it up.
No, that's not how anyone drew that up.
Not a soul, but it happened. And it happened to be with full-time 20 in the chat right there. Good stuff, man. Let's keep it rolling. Loving to see everybody hopping in there always. Let's get to Nova here. 78 implied points. Again, we hit on a slow pace earlier. The upside here is that UConn's D has not been great at all. They haven't lost since that 2-game stretch, Mike, in late November when everybody said the sky was falling. And to be honest, it hasn't exactly looked like everything's been just restored back to normal on that UConn side. They're not guarding the ball very well, especially from deep. So Nova's going to get that 3-point boost. UConn is bottom 10th in the nation, bottom percentile there. But let's start at the top here with the cash king for Villanova, and that's Eric Dixon. I'm going with the big men tonight to start my players. 9,800 here. Again, always a great cash play. We always say every time Eric Dixon is on the slate, it's cash play. If you can afford him, if you can make it work, Eric Dixon is always a great cash play. And what you like are the rates, right? 33% usage, 36% shot, 20% combined rebound rate, and 15.5% assist rate as well. The problem is, Mike, even though we might not need to get to 323 on a Wednesday, we're still going to need to get to 260, 270, maybe 280. And I feel like if you're paying 9,800 for Dixon, you're not going to get that 5.5x. I don't think it's capped. His price sort of caps him for tournament play, don't you think?
Yeah, I'm with you on that, man. I'm until he drops under 9, it's just, or it's a small slate. It's just tough to play Dixon in these large field tournaments.
Yeah.
Stick him in cash, and if you're going to get your 35 fantasy points, I can guarantee that. I'm not interested in a lot on this. I know Wooga Poplar has kind of gone crazy. 7,400, 30 plus fantasy points in 3 straight. Would have gone higher last game if they didn't blow up DePaul, but his rebounding rate is way up. That combined, scoring the ball. If you want to put him in your tourney player pool, I guess I'm okay with that. Jordan Longino, he's 6,300. He got the price bump, almost $1,000 more expensive. Played 31 minutes. Probably takes him out of consideration though at this price tag. I mean, I know he went for 34.5 and 27.5 in the last two, but definitely feeling a little more cashy than tournament, and I just don't think I'm going to touch him at all. So, really for me, Jay, Dixon for cash, Poplar maybe in a tournament, and I'm not really messing with anything else on this side here.
Hard to throw the dart at this one and get it right. It's just, again, UConn's defense hadn't been great, but some of these prices just don't.
So much going through Dixon and Poplar too. It's like there's not a lot left for everybody else.
Yeah, even in a game like this, in a game where it kind of does feel like it's going to go under that number. I don't know. It's usually the ones where we're everybody's so confident that it feels like an under game, and then it goes over by itself and then goes to overtime or something crazy like that. But I don't know, man. I'm with you on this. It's going to be hard to get into this one a ton on the Nova side, maybe a little bit on the UConn side for sure. Keep the live chat rolling. We appreciate everybody for hanging out with us. We're breaking all these games down here on this 8-game slate. That's one down for this Wednesday 8-gamer. Make sure you hit all those like and subscribe buttons. Follow our guy at Fantasy Nav in those Twitter streets. Eric the Blue pushing them buttons tonight. Shout him out in the chat, and maybe we'll. Sometimes he shows his that pretty mug of his in the old chat. You might see that old avatar up there. Who knows? He's good for a fire emoji or two in the evening. I know that much. But more importantly, like, subscribe on YouTube. Green Screens Media is what you need to be searching for. The show is one and done, of course, but Green Screens Media is the channel that you need to be on over there. So make sure you're searching for that. Push like, subscribe, turn on the notification bells at One and Done CBB on all the socials. Do the thing. Just follow us. Smash it, especially as March Madness comes around. Hashtag trademark. Sorry, don't ding us, YouTube, for is that trade? Can we say the MM? Can we say that phrase?
I'm not saying anything close to that.
Yeah. All right. Good stuff. Good stuff. Anyways, either way, push all the buttons and follow us everywhere. USC and Indiana is next up on this one. A 149-point implied total. USC is 176th in tempo, getting a pace up here from the Hoosiers, who are at 78th. Trojans probably going to be able to put the ball in the basket a little bit. Indiana is giving up 58% from 2 in 4 conference games. And what we do like, Mike, from a rotational standpoint, we don't like that people are injured or out. We don't like that part. But Terrence Williams is missing some time here. And USC's rotation tightened up a little bit. Desmond Claude, man, this 7,100 for the most expensive play on this side, a little bit different than we were looking at in game 1 on this slate. But Claude, 7,100, leads the team in usage and assist rate at 25% for both of them respectively. He's racked up 27-plus fantasy points in 6 straight games. But Mike, he does most of his damage attacking the rim, 55% from 2, which, again, Indiana conceding the hoops around the bucket these days. So Claude could really have a nice night here. Loving the profile for him. Cash returning play for me, Mike.
Yeah, I like a lot of USC, even though it's 71 implied, just because the pricing. Right. Kind of know what you're getting with these guys too. I'd say Claude, maybe more for cash for me. St. Thomas, love the name. 6,800. He's coming off the downer against Michigan, 19.5 fantasy points, but he played 37 minutes. And, Muss out there at USC, he's just running his guys into the ground, kind of like he did at the old school Arkansas before he started playing everybody. But Thomas, contributes across the board, which is what you like, man. Like, he can get you some rebounds, he can get you assists, he can get you stocks. That's not bad for a $6,800 price tag. So I think he's more solid in a tournament setting. I wouldn't mind him for cash. You start digging down under 6,000 here. Chibuzo Agbo, he's 5,900, playing a pile of minutes, but really shot dependent. Like, if he knocks down his threes, he's got a little bit of ceiling at this price. I wouldn't touch him in cash. I almost prefer him as like a stacking partner, because if he makes 4 or 5 threes, I really want the assist with it, with like a Desmond Claude. So if you want to pair those two together and just hope they go over on their side, I could see it. $300 cheaper than Ogbo here. You got Wesley Yates. Another solid tournament option here. I mean, he played 36 minutes against Michigan, 27 fantasy points. He actually leads the team in shot rates 27%, but he doesn't really do anything else. So he's kind of profile similarly to Agbo, but these guys are playing, huge minutes. So if one of these guys gets hot, man, they're really able to pay off this price tag. One of the guys I found really interesting is Josh Cohen, 5K. The price you like, the profile's pretty good. It's a guy that could do some damage from 2-point land. He's only playing about 20 minutes, which you hate. He's got some rebounding upside, especially with Ballo on the other side. They're going to need his size, but nothing more than a tourney flyer. If everything kind of falls right, like he's shown that he can get to 25, 30 fantasy points. If he ticks up to 25, 28 minutes, feeling good about him in tournaments. And then one of the more intriguing plays on the slate is Kevin Patton. He's 4,200, so he's the transfer from San Diego who really lit it up last year. Hadn't been doing much this year, but he played a season-high 28 minutes against Michigan. This guy's absolutely not afraid to shoot the ball. He can score. His peripheral rates are pretty solid, especially for a guy at 4,200. So, if Williams obviously stays out, I think Patton, one of the better tournament value plays, if he's going to, play 20, 25, 28 minutes, he's a guy that can score double digits and, you can kind of fill it up a little bit, and you don't need him to do that much at 4,200. The problem is like, we just haven't seen consistency with him playing this type of of workload. So I wouldn't be shocked, like if you clicked his name and then he plays 13 minutes, right? So we can't go full out on Patton. I wouldn't recommend him for cash, Jay, but I mean, he's an interesting tournament piece. I'm going to have a hard time not playing, especially as a stackable partner on this side. Some of the other pieces in this one.
Yeah, he's one of those guys benefiting from Terrence Williams obviously not being available. We've got to pay attention to all that. And sometimes you got to get a little different. Sometimes you got to find a way to stack these games and just hit one of them. Every lineup that we make is not you got to change it up a little bit. You got to get aggressive. You got to dial it back. You got to stack a game here. We were talking about a slate like today's, the Tuesday slate, how sometimes obviously Rutgers didn't exactly hold up their end of the bargain on that one, on the score that we were looking at. But that was the other day. Either way, one of those games where you super stack, right, Mike? Where you just look to get different on a smaller slate and you super stack. These sort of games, how do you get different? Do you get two guys in? Do you stack one of these more these higher totals and have some fun with it? Who knows? Got to get different though sometimes to see those commas. Let's get to Indiana here, Mike. Pace down for them a little bit, slight pace down. But USC struggles on the glass, so a nice bump for the Indiana bigs. And, of course, at 10K flat, Umar Ballo right there coming off that 50 burger. I don't like to chase those, but, man, the double-double upside is there. But I hate paying for guys that have never, been this pricey. I don't like paying for guys at their highest price tag at their peak price, and that's what we're looking at here. You can get to him, Mike. There's enough value that you can get to him, and he's probably not going to be super popular either, right? I mean, no, I don't think people are going to want to get up to 10K for him, and that could be the key to the slate here. Is if you're able to, if you get the value in and you squeeze Ballo in, yeah. I mean, that's you could also come down a little bit if you don't want to spend 10K and go to Mbako, right? 6,500, more of a cash option though. He's going to play 30 minutes, take a ton of shots. I mean, what's the floor? Probably 20, right? 20 fantasy point floor much, there. Man. Can't use him in tournaments, but man, Ballo, it kills me. I don't want to pay 10K for him, but again, I think he's not going to be very popular, man.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, right? We'll have to see. People have the money, but I don't know. That's a big number. But USC, I mean, the profile's pretty solid. It's just for tournaments, I think I'm more interested in Miles Rice, man, at 6,400. So volatile. But I always look for these guys in the mid fives and the mid sixes that have this 30 to 35 plus fantasy point upside. He's super annoying though. I mean, he should play 30 plus minutes. He's got a 22% usage rate and a 20% assist rate. We've seen it, man. We've seen him drop 32, 35. It's just his duds are pretty bad, man. You're like, what the, where did Miles Rice go? So Miles Rice at 6,400. Jason B jumping in. What's up, Jason? Good to see you, man. Hope tonight was good for you. Yeah, so Miles Rice for tournaments for sure, especially building like balanced builds. I think he's a solid play. Trey Galloway at 5,800, like he's definitely a cash option. I mean, 22 to 25 fantasy points in 3 straight games, playing 28 to 34 minutes. He doesn't do enough to, for tourney. He's more of just a spot up shooter. Yeah, I'm with you on the Ballo thing, man. Like, I'm not going to ignore him in tournaments. You can't because of the ceiling, right? But it's just one of those things where, like, it's Ballo, right? He's got to he's got to have big time double doubles to pay off 10K. So yeah, man. I mean, obviously Indiana with almost an 80 implied total, like. Cash for Galloway and Mbako, and then Ballo and Rice, man. Definitely have tournament upside to take you all the way to the top for sure.
USC and Indiana on that one. Second game of the 8-game slate. Hit those like and subscribe buttons. Thanks for hanging out with us. Jason B hopping in there. Darren hopped back in there. Price jacked up on good. Been your value play. That's the thing, man, is like Mike, you mentioned there was some bad pricing. Feel like on this Tuesday slate that we were dealing with.
Yeah, Goody the other night, I think on Monday was like 3,900. I think he's only 30%. He ended up paying off because he's going to replace 30 minutes. But now I think he's 5,100. So yeah, I can't play him at that price tag.
On the flip side of that, they are catching up to some of their lower prices. It is harder to find value on some of those nights. Not tonight, not for a Wednesday slate necessarily that we're talking about, but some of them are harder to find. Yeah, and you ride the wave as long as you can, man, for sure. But we appreciate you hanging out with us there, Darren, and sharing that with us in the chat. Like, subscribe, notification bells. There he is. Ooh, Eric the Blue. You knew he was good for those fire emojis, pushing all those buttons. I guess technically he pushed the button to put his button on the thing. Like that's like Inception type stuff right there, man. Good stuff, Eric. Always appreciate what you do. Okay, Florida State and Miami. We like this total here, implied to be 158 points. The problem is, Mike, is that everybody plays a million guys. Florida State is 48th in bench minutes, and Miami is 79th in bench minutes. So that usually gets the double thumbs down, sour face, whatever we get from Mike. Yeah, there it is. There we got to hit it for both of them there. So even though the implied total is nice for this game, it's going to be tough to get here. Miami's defense has been awful, so Florida State's going to, obviously that's why 80 points implied here. Goodness gracious.
Yeah.
Jameer Watkins at 9K. Usage rates is massive at 32%. Shot rate massive as well, 29%. Excuse me. Watkins, Mike, number 1, not 2, not 3, not 4. Number 1 in fouls drawn per 40 minutes. And he also has that 16% assist rate as well. The only guy for the Seminoles that really consistently gets over 30 minutes a night, and every time he takes the floor, he's got that 40-plus fantasy point upside. Cash game, play him. Tournaments, tourneys, tournaments, whatever you want to call them, play him. Jameer Watkins is that dude. And at 9K, I like the price tag.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the problems of trying to get the Ballos, right? Like they have $1,000 to play Watkins at guard, playing with Rice. So the only other guy to consider, like they're playing a couple other guys in the high 20s now, which is nicer than normal. Usually it's been like, Leonard Hamilton runs guys out for, 18 minutes each. But Malik Ewan here, 8,300. He's getting bigger minutes. I mean, he'll sometimes cross that 30-minute threshold. He's been great this year. He feels kind of like a cash play to me. But he's usable in tournaments as well. I mean, high usage, high shot, high combined rebounding rate, solid assist rate for a big man, 3% block rate. I'm just not touching anyone else. And I think I'm a little more married to Jameer Watkins here for 700 more. Just if I can get the 35 minutes, if I can get 20 field goals and just all the other things that he does, more confident in Jameer Watkins here at 9K. And that's pretty much all we're touching here on this Florida State side.
Not often do you have 80 implied points for a team, and you're only really considering 2 guys in their player pool. But that's what happens when so many people play this type of minutes. And Watkins is, you can plug him in anytime. But yeah, I mean, it's hard to really consider I mean, really, you might as well just do this and just, your luck's going to be the same. Trying to pick somebody on that side. So, what about Miami though, Mike? Pace up here for them. Coach Larinaga retired, and it just
it
is what it is. It's rebuild time, right? It is what it is. But listen, Florida State in 3 ACC games has given up 84, 90, and 74. Okay. Yeah. You like that, but what you don't like is they play a boatload of guys. Mike, I love taking a old drive on a Wednesday down Narrative Boulevard, and that's what Matthew Cleveland has. He's got the revenge game narrative here, going up against the former stomping grounds of Florida State here. Now, I still don't understand. And when that transfer happened, Mike, I was surprised that in-state transfer there happened. But again, Cleveland is a very solid player, 32 plus minutes in 4 straight, and has 30 plus fantasy points in those 4 as well. Pack's out. With Pack out, he's had to do the heavy lifting, right? If Pack plays, I think Cleveland is probably, you can play him in he's tournament play.
He's still use him.
I mean, it feels like at 6,100, Mike, when we talk about not wanting to necessarily spend up for some of these guys, when you can get some solid production, especially consistent at 6,100, 30 plus fantasy points in 4 straight games, like it's literally 5x is in your lap in a pace-up spot for the talented guard.
Yeah, he's going to be hard to get away from if Pack's out now. Don't know. Pack's missed 4 straight. When you look at the 4 straight, you're like, oh, man, I want to get 2 to 3 Miami guys, starting with Matthew Cleveland. So we'll have to pay attention because if Pack is in, it blows this entire thing up. Maybe Cleveland you could still play, but Pack just high usage, high assist rate will just pull away from all these guys. Lynn Kidd at 5,900. I love him for tournaments. Played much better recently, and the minutes are really starting to ramp up for him. I mean, you're starting to get mid-30s minutes from him at 5,900. Like, he's got to be efficient from the field because, rarely does he take double-digit field goal attempts, but, I mean, the peripherals and stocks can be there for him at 5,900. So, very interested in Lynn Kidd as well. And then if Pack is out, we've had Jalil Bethea last game step into the starting lineup. He's 3,900, so he's the 5-star, top 5 freshman. Hasn't done much this year, but got the start last game. He really didn't disappoint. I mean, 18.25 fantasy points in 25 minutes. This game is going to have a lot of possessions, so it feels like they're going to kind of try to maybe expand his role as the season. I won't say it's lost, but like they really want to see what they have for the future. So I love him as a value play. And then you have to look at, and I'm going to call him Divine U. Because that last name is crazy to pronounce here, but he's 3,600, and he's another value option to Pack. He's playing 20 to 28 minutes in the last 4 with Pack out. Put up 20.25 in 28 minutes against Virginia Tech last time. So I don't really have a problem loading these guys up in a pace-up spot, 78 implied total. They're 3,600, 3,900. I mean, to get a team that can projected to score damn near 80 points and their most expensive, their 2 studs, if Pack is out, are 61 and 59, then they have 2 value plays just sitting there. I'm going to have a lot of Miami, and then that's what makes that Watkins run back like just kind of really juicy. But if you get too involved in this game, there's that ugliness of the Florida State playing a bunch of dudes, and then there's kind of the ugliness of just what Miami's been for pretty much the entire year. But there should be enough for at least at a minimum 2 of these guys to get there. And I can see all 4 getting there, honestly. So I'll have some 4-1s. I'll have some 3 and some 3-1s. Like, this is going to be obviously then we pay attention to the news and make sure Pack's still out, because if Pack is in, it may just be, maybe a 1-and-done situation, 1-and-1 situation here. So we'll have to pay attention to that very, very closely.
Ugo Chukwu.
Ugo Chukwu.
There you go. Ugo
Divine.
Chukwu. Divine Ugo Chukwu. We got it there. We're here. We got the producer in our ear saying Pack's out indefinitely right now. A little bit of an update. That could mean, tomorrow.
Yeah, we don't know, dude.
Who's
it? Marcus Burton? Yeah, we're about to talk about him. He just showed up. I thought he was going to be out for a little bit longer, and then
Such a
Seth
weird.
Trimble just randomly showed up off the bench today. You just never know. So
Jason
if he's not
Hoppin,
starting, it's a good sign.
Yeah, Jason hopping in there saying that Miami Herald reporting the Pack's out indefinitely. Again,
CBB,
indefinitely can mean a lot of things, and usually that means for a while.
Yeah.
So we'll be paying attention to this, though.
95%, 99%. This is the analysis here should be good to go, but in case Pack blows this thing up.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt about it. Thanks for hanging out with us. Thanks for Jason hopping in there, Darren, Eric, the Blue hopping in there, full-time 20, Isaac, Scott Harris, good to see him in there, Forklift Jeremy, Nape C Hustle, Cam, everybody that's already hopped in the live chat. Keep it rolling. If you haven't already, push those like and subscribe buttons as we're breaking down this Wednesday slate and 8-gamer. A little bit of fun ski, midweek fun ski here, 2K to first on the old day. He's heating up. That's right. We're heating up right here on One and Done. And we're heading to the moon ski. 1,279. Are we at 1,280 yet? I need the producer. Have we gotten that bump yet on this show? Let me know in the old ear ski here. Have we gotten that? No. Oh, we haven't happened yet. I don't like hearing that. I don't like seeing that. But make sure if you're hanging out with us and you haven't pushed that button yet, do it. We appreciate you. Tell the hoop heads in your life, the broskies and broskets, about us over here at Green Screens Media. You're One and Done. Hey, you think we're going to see Peanut Butter Posse tonight after that Kentucky loss? You think we're going to see him? Probably won't see him. Probably won't see him or hear from him in the chat. But that's okay. Hey, they can't win. They're not going to win them all, Peanut Butter Posse. And we hope that you're hanging out with us and just lurking a little bit. Don't want to show your face. That's okay. Hey, we want to see your face. Texas lost tonight too, but what else is new? That's okay. Not a big deal. It's all right. No big deal. Goodbye, Rodney. Anyways, moving on now to the next game on this slate. Notre Dame traveling on the road to NC State. Not as kind of a total here implied, at least 142 points. And we're starting to get team totals in the 60s here. Notre Dame with 69. Very nice implied points here. A slow game. Both teams operate at a snail's pace. And, NC State just – they give up. I mean – in conference play, they've just given it up, right? Even gave up 70 to Virginia. Yeah, that's Virginia. Let's hop in here for the Fighting Irish. Tay Davis, 7,500. Another guy that really just gets to the rim, right, and draws fouls. You love to see that, especially 7,500, a guy that's just raw points, real life points matter, y'all. They do. And Tay Davis can manufacture them in a lot of ways for himself. 29% usage, 26% shot, and a 22% combined rebound rate. What you look if you're box score watching, right, and sometimes we all do it, 25 fantasy points last time out against UNC. But before that, you got the 33 to 40 range on the fantasy points, and that'll help. That'll help out a lot. The pace is what makes him playable in this game. It makes him hard to play in anything but a tournament, right? Because it's such a slower game. But at this price, and I guess you hinted about Burton coming back earlier, and Darren's in the chat asking about him right now. That sort of limits Tay Davis's ceiling here, right?
Yeah.
Like, again, I love what he does. I love how he can manufacture stuff for himself. But Burton coming back, it does draw a little bit away from that.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing is like Notre Dame should be able to get to the bucket, and that's what Tay Davis and Marcus Burton do. NC State giving up nearly 60% from 2-point range, and you got Marcus Burton here who can light you up from driving to the rim or shooting threes here. So Burton returning last game just reminded us why he's one of the best guards in the country. 28 fantasy points in 23 minutes. You get 3 days off. We'll make sure here. If he's back, we hope he's closer to 30 minutes so he can pay us off in a tournament. I think the guy just has massive rates, 33% usage, 36.5% shot rate. Come on, what are we doing here? 34% assist rate. Like, he's one of the top tourney plays on the board. Even if he plays 28 minutes, I'm okay with that. It's just I want to get into the 30s so I can really tap into that ceiling. These other guys, man.
Can Davis, if Burton gets his, can Tay Davis still get his?
I don't.
Can both of these guys get theirs, or is it one or the other? Are we flipping a coin with these two?
Not with a 69 implied total. I don't think both will get there. I think you just pick one for a tournament because one of them is going to get to the bucket and score a lot of points.
Right.
most people are going to go with Burton, which makes Davis that contrarian kind of tournament play there. But these other guys are now really hurt by Burton, Shrewsbury, Alaco. With Burton back, like they're just cash games. They're going to play 30 minutes, and they could they'll both clear probably 20 fantasy points. I don't know, man. Like I'm not chasing Shrewsbury or Alaco here. I'm really looking at the Burton. It's not if Burton's out. I have some interest in Shrewsbury because he'll shoot the ball 30 times, and then Alaco has to have the ball in his hands for them to do anything. So, yeah, kind of a weird spot here. I mean, only nearly a 70 implied total. Both these teams really slow, 270 or 270 and 300 basically. But Burton and Davis should be able to get theirs.
73 implied points for NC State. They're going to get clean looks. Yeah, the Irish, the Fighting Irish, they're not going to really turn you over. They're not going to block a shot. So, Wolfpack might have some looks here. 151st in bench minutes, so not super. Like we'll like to see those in like the low twos or high threes. Hundreds. Like. Playing a lot of guys here. What's your approach to the NC State side, Mike?
It's just two guys for me, man. Marcus Silly, 6,100. He's the most expensive guy. So that tells you kind of something about this team, right? Where they're just not getting enough production to get someone into the 7 or 8K range. Was Jaden Taylor. He's kind of fallen off the map, but he'll getting consistently over 30 minutes with decent rates. So really a consideration for cash. And Bill Middlebrooks, I love him for tournaments. I think he's super sneaky in the large field tournament. Like Ben Middlebrooks is one of those guys in the mid-5s, the mid-6s that has 35 fantasy point upside. Like nobody's going to play him. You look at the last game, 8.25 fantasy points. He did draw the start in that one. That was 26 minutes, but it was against Spillers and Reed. I'm going to throw him in a few because we saw what he did last year. We know what he's capable of. Like he can put up a big number for you at 5,700. The chances of it happening are very low, but all you need to do is hit it, find the one that he does it in. And if he does it in this game, then, that's how you win $2,000 here. So, Ben Middlebrooks here, man, is a solid tournament play.
That was what I was going to say is that you look at these lineups that are winning that kind of money, and there's always a guy like Middlebrooks in there, mid-range price, super high ceiling, and it's just if you get the Middlebrook, if you get the Ben Middlebrooks night, right? If you get that night, like
the Stephen Crawl night.
Yeah, oh man.
That was epic. Every time. 15% too.
If you get it with Middlebrooks though, like you're putting yourself in a really, really great spot. And the ceiling's there for sure. I mean, double, not out of the question, obviously. We'll see. Good stuff. Notre Dame and NC State in the books here. Hit like and subscribe. Let's keep it rolling here as we get to Ole Miss and Arkansas. On the Ole Miss side, getting paced up by Arkansas here. An Arkansas team that's been pretty solid defensively, Mike. So for the Rebels here, Sean Padula, 7,800. Great tourney option. Great rates across the board. Before the last two games out, right, looking at as we box score, watch and chase here, he was living in those 30s, right, which you like to see. I think he's a sneaky play.
Yeah, he's very sneaky. Like we know Padula's a guy that can score 20 real life, get you 4 or 5 assists, and poke out a couple of steals, and then pay off 7,800 in the tournament. So he has one of those Padula games. Obviously struggling to be lower owned. I don't mind it. Also, don't mind going to Morrell at 6,300. I think Morrell right now is a little more cash at 6,300. Scoring reliant. He's not a guy that's going to put up, big time assist numbers, things like that. So, Matthew Morrell. I love that he's getting over the 30-minute threshold, so definitely on the cash double-up target here. The guy that I find really interesting and kind of a move that they've made is they've moved Jalen Murray to the bench. They're not playing Devon Barnes here because it was just sort of too small of a lineup there. And, Chris Beard loves his defense, so they haven't been great defensively. And now you get Barnes in there. He's starting ahead of Murray for defensive purposes. I wish he was cheaper, like 4,200, but it's notable that he played 34 minutes last game. Didn't do much against Georgia, but nearly 20 fantasy points. He's definitely in the value, like the low, right there. We kind of start value at 5K and below. He's there. I don't know. A lot of people will click him because you got the Miami value. You got all these other guys. We haven't talked about 80 yet on the other side. So Barnes, I think he's just kind of an interesting – there's a lot of sneakiness tournament side on this one with Padula and Barnes, and then Morrell's just like your cash guy that's going to play 30 minutes and score the basketball for you.
What about the Arkansas side, Mike? Not much of an advantage other than being at home here. Just play too many guys too still. And not as many, not like the Muss days, Remember when we were talking about Muss having a tight rotation, and I remember those days and all we ever did was complain about how he was playing 13 guys or whatever. But here, for Arkansas now, 209th in bench minutes. Adu Thero, 8,200. Man, talk about the upside that if you get the Thero night, another guy, is he could post like a 40, mid-40s. Is not out of the question, right? I mean, 8,200, it's not like enough to push me away as one of the higher, as a spend-up option here. It's just – at this price, if I'm playing him in tourneys, Mike, I just want to – I don't know. It's tough for me to feel as good about him in tourneys. It could be a cash lock, though, with the minutes in the roll, I guess. And I love me a good cash play. But, I guess let's just call Thero an interesting tourney option. How about that?
Yeah, I'm with you on it. And, his role is just so big on this team. Obviously, the blowout last game for Tennessee that doesn't look great. And they blew out North Carolina A&T. 2 games before that, but he usually plays 30, 35 minutes, big rates, kind of like Boogie Flan. These two are kind of the same to me. Boogie Flan's $100 cheaper, the guard. He does some tournament upsides there for both of these guys. They could get to 40, right? But they play mid-30s minutes. You kind of know what you're going to – you're going to get at least 20 to 25 in these close game environment at a minimum from these guys. So I really like them in cash. And I think they're kind of interesting for tournaments as well. DJ Wagner – just cash only for me at this price, man. 59. There's just no stealing on this team. With Fland and Thero just dominating the usage here. He's going to play big minutes. Every now and then he'll take double-digit shots, but he needs to be 4,900 to play him in a tournament. So DJ Wagner, 5,900. He's another cashy type guy. Jonas Adey is our tournament guy here, 5,100. Ivicic is questionable. And he's already kind of starting to take over the big man role here. Had the revenge game against Tennessee, played 29 minutes. You absolutely love it. This guy plays 30 minutes. His rates are crazy. And, I guess the team without a lot of size, which is kind of weird to say, but that's kind of Ole Miss right there. I think he's a really, really good tournament play. It's capable of smashing it. So, man, this Arkansas side, you just never know who's going to go off, but it's typically one or two of these guys go off, Jay. And there's a weird name that's pretty cheap down here, man. Or what?
Yeah, we weren't getting away from this game. I wasn't going to let it happen without talking John L. Davis. What are we doing here? 4,600?
Welcome to 2025.
Speaking of 25, John L. Davis played 25 minutes at Tennessee. You know how many fantasy points he had? 2 more than I did. Okay?
Man, rough.
What is happening? 4,600 for John L. Davis? It's the risk, though, right? Because again, can't do any worse than that. Okay, yeah, but even if you're spending 4,600 on a value play here, which again, I remember, what were we paying for Davis?
$9K last year.
I mean, I was gonna say at least 8,500.
Yeah,
and he's just asking, begging to be put into your
30 minutes in a close game,
Two.
It's reaching Riley Kugel levels.
2 fantasy points.
Riley Kugel levels of frustration at this point.
The talent's there. It's not even a question. Is it going to play? Is it going to play? And is it going to actually? Are we going to see it? I don't know, man. Are you clicking him?
Yeah, I'm a sucker.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I'm gonna play him in a tournament. 4,600? Did you play 30 minutes?
Cam, how exposed to John L. Davis are you going to be tomorrow? Let us know in the chat. Everybody, let us know. No, do it. Let us know in the chat. I want to know how many of you are clicking that name tomorrow. I'm doing it. I mean, I'm doing it. I'm not even sorry. I'm not even a little bit sorry, guys. I'm not. I'm going to click his name a bunch.
I'm so pot committed that if he fails, he's going to be like 4K, and then I'm just going to play him again.
Yeah, because eventually he's going to pay that price tag off. You know it. Why do they used to do the rain dance over and over again? Why do they do the rain
Make
dance?
it rain, man.
Why did the rain work? Why did the rain dance work? Because you do it until it rained. Okay, the rain dance worked because you dance until it rained, and that's what we're doing with John L. Davis. We're just gonna dance with him until it rains, baby.
Cam said over the field, which he thinks will be at 10%. I don't know if it'll be 10. I think it'll be higher because the projections, like when you stick him in at 28 minutes at this price tag at a 75 implied total, it's gonna pop for some people. And people, I don't know, man. Maybe he's not. Maybe too many people probably just been burned to play this guy, and maybe I shouldn't either.
Good. Good. Don't play him then. Don't. It's okay. I'll play him, and when he goes nuclear, we'll all have a nice laugh about it. Okay.
No, I'll be pissed.
Yeah, I know, because you're not going to click him nearly as much as. That's just another one of those guys now where we're looking at it. We're talking value right now, and it's like, oh yeah, I'm clicking. Every other lineup's going to be Davis, and then by the time we get down, it's going to be like one click.
Yeah,
like that. I'm playing him. I'll have him in. I can't not play him at this price. I gotta have something.
Yeah, he's a 9K talented player. We've seen it. He was our number one player on our transfer portal big board. Like, what the hell's going on here? I get Boogie Fland is super talented, but this guy should have the ball in his hands more than everybody else on this team outside of Fland.
Don't blame it on the Boogie. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Nah, Boogie's good.
Blame it on the sunshine. Blame it on the moonlight. Blame it on my Ike. Blame it on Boogie. No. All right, John L. Davis, click the name. Okay, let's do it. Let's all have some fun together. Why not? Ride the roller coaster with me. I am the conductor of this aforementioned Green Screens Media train, so let's ride it. All right, good stuff there. That's a lot of time talking about John L. Davis, but I think at that price tag, it warrants a discussion, for sure. All right, good stuff there. Alabama and South Carolina is the next one on the slate, so make sure you hit like and subscribe, and the notification bells. Boop, right there. Push the buttons as we get to this game here. 158 implied total. I like that. I like it a lot. Alabama, 83 points for them. 5th in tempo. Much better than some of this 320th crap that we've been looking at on this slate. But we know Alabama's going to get up and down here. South Carolina will drag anybody down, 259th in the country. And they just got absolutely obliterated by Mississippi State by 35. And you're not going to win a lot of games if you're giving up 73% from two. You're just not.
That's a layup line.
I mean, it might as well have been. And they're also giving up a ton of stocks as well. So the Gamecocks, not so good. But Alabama, I love Alabama here. But talk about playing a million, fulfilling gazillion guys. I mean, I'm going to take
your boy.
Okay. I'm not talking. You're going to talk about Grant Nelson because I will not. I promise you. But Sears at 9,400 here.
I guess you could.
I don't think I can. I mean, I guess if you're playing big time tournament stuff and you want to fit him in, he's not one of the guys I'm spending up for. I'm just not. Not at this one. He hasn't gotten over 40 enough here. Of course, is he capable of doing it? Could you see Mark Sears just going nuclear and having himself a game in a big total? If this one stays close, if South Carolina somehow finds a way to keep this thing close, I could see him. It's going to be hard for me to click it though, Mike. I'll spend up somewhere else, I think. But if you want to do it, I get it.
Yeah, and Darren jumping in, no more 4K and Holloway. All these guys that were, just, man, when they score 100 points, like multiple guys kind of go off. And that's the thing here. Like Mark Sears just had 50 against OU, but he hasn't really done much outside of maybe the Creighton game. And then like Grant Nelson is weird. Like it's almost like they've reversed. Like Grant Nelson has like been consistent this year, which is weird. He's having an awesome year. 39, 38, 30, 45 in the last 4 games. Like, what are we doing here? Red hot, just layup lines, dunking the ball, hitting threes. What are we doing? I mean, we know the history, super volatile. You can only use them. Even though he's on this run, you cannot use this guy in cash. Like you just can't.
Nope.
He's too volatile.
Never.
His history and his price. So tournaments for me, and these, it wouldn't surprise me when these guys went for 45, 50 and won the tournament for you. Phylon's that guy that can get to 35, 40. Same song and dance as Nelson and Sears. He's at 7,600. Maybe I'm doing it wrong. Maybe it's spin the wheel, pick the Alabama guy at the top that you think is going to go nuts. Darren's saying that which of the low piece guys. I'm not going to play that game because we got too much other stuff going on. With we got 80, we got the Miami value, we've got John L. Davis. There's just other guys that you just know are going to get 30 minutes. It's not going to be this like, can this guy smash in 17 minutes? Like that's a tough way to try and figure it out. So it's just spin the wheel on the rest of these guys, and then. Jay, this South Carolina side, I mean, it could be a blowout, man. I don't know, man. This could get ugly pretty quickly, but a couple of interesting pieces with those bigs, man.
Yeah, South Carolina obviously getting paced up here. They're at home, okay? So if you can keep it close in this one, CMB, let's remove the DFS hat for 1 second. He's just one of the best bigs in the game. All right, Put the DFS hat back on now. You look at the Mississippi State dud, that little guy. Let's not worry about that little guy too much. Other than that, he hadn't been under 32 fantasy points since the middle of Turkey month. Now, the problem, I prefaced it earlier talking about keeping it close. If South Carolina can keep it close, if.
They just got hammered by Mississippi State too.
This could get ugly here. And then if you pay $9,200 for Colin Murray Boyles, you might as well just close the app and take a nap. Okay. And that's not what we're trying to do here. Beware the blowout.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of crazy, man. Like if you play him and he goes for 40, you need to have somebody on the other side. Like a Sears and Nelson. So I think that's the only way I'd play CMB. I might try it on 1 out of 20. Nick Pringle's interesting, Jay. I mean, it's a revenge spot. We love the narrative, right? I mean, fantasy point per minute type of guy. Just has to stay out of foul trouble, not do the things he was doing at Bama. He's done okay with that. Some of the years, the Xavier game was disastrous, like 3 minutes, 3 fouls. Large field turning option for this guy. Play the narrative if you want to. I don't know. This entire game is just kind of not gross because, the total, right? The Bama, it's just a weird game. I don't want any of the guards from South Carolina. I don't know. If you're in the chat, man, like, what do you think of? I feel like this is like the interesting game of the night where, you look back and you're like, crap. But just so many better spots around this slate that this one's just kind of scary. So let us know in the chat, man, if you guys think like you want to get into multiple pieces on the Bama side. We'd love to hear from you.
I wish I could pay like $5,600 for Pringle.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
5,500.
Yeah, exactly.
Let me get that. Let me get in that range. 3. Not as quick to push that button. A couple more games left in this 8-game slate. Before we get to those, make sure you do your part in the Green Screens Media universe by hitting those like and subscribe buttons, notification bells too, so you don't miss anything that we're doing here as it goes towards the copyright infringement big tournament at the end of March and into April here. You're going to want to be hanging out with us as we're covering every how many times, 3-4 times a week we're getting you with the DFS slate, the DraftKings stuff right here in these DK streets we like to roam right here on One and Done. You don't want to miss anything that we're doing, so make sure you push all those buttons. Let's keep it rolling here. 2 more games on this one. Colorado and UCF. Classic Big 12 matchup here of Colorado and UCF. 146 implied points total on this one. UCF is going to pace up the Buffaloes. And speaking of, I don't even know how I was going to segue into this. UCF just got another team that just got absolutely annihilated. It was against Kansas, but losing by almost 50 at home, like, that's not good for the old morale.
No.
Okay, for UCF. So Colorado, you like that if you're playing on this Buffalo side here. But again, another team, big problem here for us is they play 20th. They're ranked 20th in bench minutes used here. Not the best at all.
Yeah, everybody getting minutes, man. I mean, it's one guy that I really like. I guess we got to talk about Trevor Baskin. He's 7K, kind of a tough click. Just had 49 fantasy points against at Arizona State. The game was a blowout too, and he just comes off the bench and goes 20-10. He doesn't play 30 minutes, man. This price is a little out of control. I mean, obviously, he has to be in the tourney player pool because he has upside, but probably a cross-off for most of this side, except for Julian Hammond for me. Now, Hammond 6,600, his price is going the other way. And, it was 8,400 a couple of games ago. This is the one guy you feel good about in cash or tourney settings. He's the lead dog. 25% usage rate, 26% assist rate, going to play 30 minutes. Yeah, Julian Hammond, man. This is a spot that I think we're going to like in a pace up for him for sure. But everything else on this Colorado side is pretty disgusting. I'm much more interested in this UCF side here, Jay.
A guy with those sort of rates down almost 2K from his peak price. Yeah, give me some Julian Hammond action for sure. On the UCF side, a little bit of a pace down here. And Colorado, they're pacing you down here, but they've also given up 81-79 in their last two conference games. So it's even though they're not getting up and down as much, they're still giving up the real life points there. So UCF getting a 3-ball boost, a stocks boost. And pricing down across the board on this side, Mike, starting with Darius Johnson, 7,700. Yeah, I love him at this price tag for tournaments, averaging 31.5 fantasy points on the year. And I think he's got a little bit of room to get to the 40s on this one. I don't think he's going to be super popular, probably sub, what do you think, 15% ownership?
Yeah,
most likely.
Around there.
I like the rates and his price. Darius Johnson at 7,700.
Yeah, I'm with you on Johnson there for tournaments. And then Keyshawn Hall, he's 7K. He's guard forward eligible, even though he's a forward. Been really good over the last 30-plus fantasy points, even in the Kansas game when they got blown out, had 30-plus. Leads the team in shot rate, but he can also fill up the stat sheet, get you rebounds. He's a good passer. You love his roster flexibility. So I think he's a really good cash or turning play. Interesting guy is Jordan Ivy Curry, 6,800. His price tag has really fallen. You're kind of worried about Sellers eating into his usage, but you should still play about 30 minutes here. I don't think anybody will click him after the last couple of games when he's only had 15 fantasy points combined. So those are the guys I look for. He's in the tournament player pool for sure. Mustafa Chim, he's 5,500. He got absolutely baptized by Dickinson. 19 minutes against Dickinson, 6.25 fantasy points. But this guy has unreal rebounding and stock upside. He has shown he can go for 30-plus fantasy points, and he's one of the few guys on the slate that we've been talking about in this mid-5, mid-6 that can go for 35, 40. Yeah. So, yeah, Chim will be using in some tournaments. And Jalen Sellers, I mean, at some point, they have to get him going. He was there. Him and Darius Johnson were the two big dogs last year. Got the start last game, 21 minutes against Kansas, his third game back from injury. If you think he plays 25-plus minutes, his price tag is probably getting getting close to being too cheap. His efficiency so far has not been, hasn't been great. But he's not like this huge peripheral guy. He's really got to get it done scoring. But at 4.3, he doesn't need to go completely crazy. So tourneys right now until we get a full go on his minutes. There'll be a time, I don't know if it's going to be this late, but maybe the next one, if he starts taking into the high 20s, we're going to get him at 4,500, and he's going to play 32 minutes in one of these games, and we're really going to get paid off then. I just don't know that it's going to be this game.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. It's tough again if you hit the game though. This is one of those things where if the value isn't, he already doesn't have to go nuts. Right. But again, if he does, right there. Yeah. And again, you mentioned it's not the first time somebody's gotten their game messed up by Hunter Dickinson, and it won't be the last. I mean, it's not the most discouraging thing in the world at that 5,500 price tag there for, just saying, it's Hunter Dickinson we're talking about here. This is not, it's Hunter Dickinson, okay? He's screwed up a lot of people's nights.
Yeah.
And he'll continue
even
to
his
do
own.
So. Yeah, especially and mine a couple of nights too. But we're not. It's okay. It's okay. Man, when you had the solo reference earlier, I almost said, I love you, solo. Almost hit it earlier, but I didn't do it. If you watched Monday Night Raw on Netflix last night, hop in the chat and let me know. It was fire.
Yeah, man. It's fire.
For sure. Hey, fire. Last one here. Let's get through it. 8-game slate. We got to the 8th one here. Butler and Providence, 68 points implied for Butler here. Butler's just struggled offensively lately. It is what it is, but they're going to get some clean possessions. And what we do like is that Butler is 322nd in bench minutes. We like it so much, I'm knocking down my set behind me here. Telford, 7,900. Hello, cash game. He's playing every minute, all cardio. You're going to get 25-plus fantasy points guaranteed. For tournaments, though, Mike, I need him under 7K to get to him in tournaments. But I don't mind him, spending 7.9K for a cash game on Telford.
Yeah, I don't mind Telford for cash. I mean, McCaffrey and Brooks would be the other guys. They're playing in the 30s, and they're just not that exciting. McCaffrey at 6,900, like, game environment's not great. Even if he has a ceiling game, it's probably just 4X for McCaffrey, maybe a little bit more. So he just doesn't do anything on defense. No stocks to really raise his ceiling. So I'm out on McCaffrey until he gets to like the low 6, high 5s. Pierre Brooks, 6,900, super shot dependent. He's a guy that could score 30 real life points though if he gets hot. I just don't know that this is a game environment where he'll get hot. He'll play a ton of minutes, but this is on the road. There's not a lot of floor here either, man. Like, I don't know that I'm getting to anybody in tournaments, and maybe outside of Brooks in this entire game. Sounds weird to say.
I get it. And I get Out of Rhythm Fantasy Sports saying OTC all the way. The original Tribal Chief. That's right. Get your ones up. Acknowledge your original tribal podcast for college basketball. We're going to workshop that name about acknowledging us here on One and Done. But good stuff there. Thanks for hopping in there for sure. Yeah, the OTC. Love it. Last side here. We're getting to it. Thanks for hanging out with us, first of all. If you've hung out with us all the way through, breaking down all of these games, we definitely appreciate it. Quickly, Providence side, Mike, a little bit of a pace up, rebounding boost for the Friars as well. 113th in bench minutes. Bryce Hopkins questionable. There's not a lot to love in this side, and not in this game really in general, I guess, but not on the Providence side.
Yeah, I mean, Pierre, Joseph, Mila, like, all these guys are pretty much priced correctly now. Pierre's kind of like your cash guy. He's going to be on the floor a lot. Joseph's like your tourney plays. Every now and then he'll pop off for 30. And, Mila here, he's now 4,700. So you're not getting him at 3,400. You're not getting him at 3,700. Now you're paying 4,700 for him. Yeah, I mean, he's in my value player pool. That's all. I'm not going to go crazy on him like I have been. He was 100% the other night. So not going to use them.
Another guy that the value is just not there anymore. The pricing's caught up a little bit. It's going to be harder to click that name. Not chasing it. Not doing it. Good stuff there, guys. Why don't we get to it? Let's just no more riffraff. Let's get to the core four and more. Hit those like and subscribe buttons. Show us some love as we get to your core plays of the night. Remember, the core four plays are plays to sort of start your lineups around guys that we put a lot of trust in our cash and tournament plays here. I always do the cash core. I usually do the cash. You want to say always, but I usually end up doing the cash core. I love these cash plays. Let's get to the cash core four. And I am going to, if I don't cash tomorrow, I will be blaming it on the boogie because he's in the cash core. 8,100, huge roll, has only been under 24 fantasy points once this season. Desmond Claude, 7,100 for USC, huge minutes, nice rates, super consistent, which we love in this format. Matthew Cleveland or Lynn Kidd, pick one of those Miami Hurricane players. If Pack's out, I think you know where you need to go. But Cleveland or Kidd there, and then, again, stay on Miami and pick one of their value guards. Ugochukwu, Bethea, like both under 4K. If Pack's out, both of those guys are going to play high 20 minutes. One of them, that big total of the game, you need one of them at least, right? And playing, if you do the more expensive options here on this play, is still going to leave you with $6,275 per player left. Super generous.
That's nice.
That is
That's nice.
I've been in the low fives lately on my core. So almost 6,300 left for the rest, the other half of your roster, Mike. Not too shabby at all. Tossing it to you now. A little bit different approach here to the tournament plays and the core four. What you got?
Yeah, I really like Darius Johnson, man, from UCF at 7,700. I could have said Jameer Watkins, obviously, at the very top. You could say Mark Sears at the very top, right? You could obviously play any of those guys, Omar Ballo at the very, very top. But Darius Johnson at 7,700, I think he's got 40 fantasy point upside in this matchup against Colorado. Marcus Burton, I need him to start, even though he came off the bench last time, so played high 20s. I need 30 minutes from Marcus Burton, but definitely a tournament player for me at 7,300. I'm not getting away from one of the Miami guys. If Pack would expect is out, so either Cleveland or Kidd there. And then I'm with you. You got to have a Miami value guard, whether you're playing cash or tourney as well. So really, those two have stayed the same. But I think you could also think about Kevin Patton at 4,200 if Terrence Williams is out. So yeah, man. I mean, if you don't even use one of the Miami guys here, I mean, you still have 6,175. So you go get a stud. You go get one of the Miami cheap values. You can play Ballo. You can play. Those guys are there, man. So you can play. It's weird because you don't say whatever you want, but there are more. Because like tonight, there were so many guys 30% plus. There aren't going to be as many 30% plus guys, except for like some of the value guys. But there are just more routes that you can take. Star scrubs, you can just build straight out through the 6 mid-tier guys and then two values. Like it's gonna be a fun slate to rock with.
Should be a little bit of fun. The live chat was fun tonight. Darren hopping in there. Great show, guys. Everyone like and subscribe. Appreciate you showing us some love there. Out of Rhythm Fantasy saying that they will catch up more college hoops once college football is done. Hey man, the water's warm. You might as well just hop in now. We got some time. There's only 3 total games left. I guess there's some of these little bowls still going on.
I think that's it.
Yeah, that's it, right? We just got to play out these last 2. That's I talked about the Longhorns losing earlier tonight. Hey, the gridiron, not
Royal Ivy
shabby over there, buddy. We were talking about Royal Ivy as being the coach here a long time ago. Okay, and if you go back to the old archives of the Bacon and Egg show back in the day, back in the original OG podcast. From back in the day, we were talking about Ivy being on this campus a long time ago. Maybe we'll see it. Who knows? But we do know that Darren, Out of Rhythm, Cam, Nape C Hustle, also known as CC Hustle, Eric the Blue, Isaac, Jason B, Fulltime 20, Scott Harris, Forklift Jeremy, everybody that hopped in the live chat. Darren showing us some love there at the end. We definitely appreciate you for that. And we appreciate everybody for hanging out with us always. We broke down every single game here. Went a little bit longer than maybe we wanted to, but it's fun when we get together, when we get to chat, go back and forth with Mike on some of these games, go back and forth with you, the one and done faithful, the Green Screens Media universe, all the broskies and broskets out there. We definitely appreciate you. We appreciate our guy at Fantasy Nav in those Twitter streets for pushing the buttons tonight. Eric the Blue, fire emojis in the chat for Eric if you show him some love. Nape C Hustle, like I was saying earlier, CC Hustle, as it's going to take me a little bit. That's what we're calling him, CC Hustle these days. At the Real Napier, at One and Done CBB is the show page on all the socials. Make sure you hit all those buttons. Just follow us everywhere. If there's a social media, Blue Sky, I even think, is that what it's called? Blue Sky. Blue skies crying in the rain. Oh wait, I don't know. I don't think that's how that goes. Anyways. Make sure you just follow us over there. The content will be coming, and if it'll pick up, and then you can say, "Hey, I was there. I remember back when you guys were getting rolling." Big part of the One and Done in Green Screens Media universes. That's my guy right there. If you don't know him, now you know him. The captain of the Green Screens Media ship at MC Holland 34 on Twitter. That's the OG Money Mike, Mr. Mike Holland, always chasing commas, doing his thing. Follow him on Twitter. I am the conductor of this whole thing. My name is Jay Heinrich, at Dr. William Cannon on Twitter. Follow me, I'll follow you back. We appreciate you for hanging out with us. Make sure you take care of yourself. Tell somebody you love them. I am JayHeinrich. Come again. Peace.
Thanks for stopping by the office. Get your fantasy prescription by subscribing to the channel and checking out drroto.com. And until the next visit, be well and take care.